Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me. This session is about tangles issued by various CZTs, and we have already learned one tangle in our first session, that is the tangle anthem. Right? So this is the basic tangle. You can always take it further from here, explore, innovate. Today we are going to be learning two more tangles by CZTs. The first tangle is called Tunnelvision. Yeah, Tunnel Vision, and this is again a tangle by Jody Genovese. The tangle, this tangle was also by the same CZT. So this tangle goes like, it starts with these humps, random humps. You can draw these humps in any fashion, one over the other, anywhere, any kind of a space. And then you have to insert these caviars inside it. Again, you can insert it anywhere. So it's not a rule that you have to draw it here only. So I'm going to place it somewhere, sometimes at the top, sometimes here, sometimes probably here. Yeah, so once you have done that, that was the step 2. Now comes the auras part. So we just have to aura the caviars that we have placed inside. Yeah, so just add auras all around and fill up the whole space. Right? That simple a tangle, purely aura based. You can always break the auras to add a highlight. If you want to create tangleations, you can add something in between the auras also. Yeah, but that's how the basic tangle goes. Tunnel vision. Yeah, so just add auras once you have inserted those caviars inside. You can vary the shape any which ways you want. Generally looks like sand dunes or humps. Right? Again, you have to follow the caviar, so auras have to be surrounding it. So that is what will determine how you have to draw the auras. Yeah, so that's the basic of the tangle tunnel vision. You can also draw some tentacles or some just coming out, a fun version wherein some are jumping out trying to make their presence felt like these. Yeah, so just draw two stem like parallel lines and then add a caviar at the top, some bit of weight there, and then some etching. Yeah, so gives it a funky look. That's the basic tangle tunnel vision. Yeah, shading, as far as shading is concerned, again you will highlight the center and add shades on both sides like this. Yeah, so that's the general way to shade it. Basically, the direction of your auras will guide you how to shade the tangle. Yeah, so here auras are like these. I'm sorry, so you have to just add graphite on these two sides. Yeah, accordingly here graphite will be here. Wherever there are intersections, just highlight it. Right, so this is how we are going to shade the tangle and highlight the in between section. Yeah, you can see the 3D effect. The second tangle that we are going to be drawing today is called Zeppo. It is a tangle by CZT Matheson, and it is just like a tangle called Bubbles that we already know. So I'm going to add two orbs, add a little weight to the inside orb, and then surround it by a few more orbs like this. Now the next one that I draw will be interconnected, so they will share few of the orbs and they will be stuck with each other just like cells or molecules. And then again I'm going to, so it is not bound, it can grow in just about any direction. Just make sure that each one of them are connected to each other in some way. Yeah, so they will share some common orbs. They can be of all sizes and you can draw it in any fashion. Yeah, so doesn't matter, you draw it in one line or in a bunch or to fill up any kind of a space. Zeppo looks like a scientific tangle. Yeah. Now the usual way to shade it is again add some graphite inside here, or you can add it to half, right? So whichever way you feel like. So I've just added on the side where I have added the weight, and then I'm going to darken that side and use your chalk to highlight the other side. If you wish, you can also add an aura outside. For example, if I draw one here and add another Zeppo, I can also, if I want to, add some graphite outside like an aura. Yeah, so it depends. How are you using the tangle? What are the adjoining tangles? On that basis, you can just shade your tangle. So today's style, we are going to be using these two tangles primarily, and probably one or two more to support these tangles. So let's get started. So let's now start with a border. With a sense of gratitude and appreciation towards this beautiful art form, towards the best of the tools and supplies, towards the opportunity it gives us to create a beautiful piece of work in such a easy and simple way. Yeah. Again, I'm going to add another orb inside. Probably give it a Marasu kind of a look. Yeah, Marasu with these kind of lines coming out. So I'm just adding another orb inside. Like this. Yeah, kind of an orb with some extensions there. Giving another aura. And then I'm going to be adding these bands, which I'm going to be inking alternatively. Yeah, so leave a highlight in between and ink the rest. I'm going to switch to my O1. Spaces are small. I was using my O2. So again, take your time. Again, draw a line. Again, create a section. I think this tangle is also called as Betelgeuse, somewhat derived from Marasu but drawn a little differently. Yeah, so I'm going to be continuing like this. Interesting version of Marasu. So I'm almost finishing with my inking here. In the same fashion, adding a section of inking with a highlight, a line, again adding a section of inking, somewhat similar to what we do for Marasu, but not exactly similar. Right? So once I'm done with that, now up to you. You can either add a thin aura inside or just redo these lines. Add a little more thickness so that the next angle I draw does not mingle with this tangle of mine. Yeah, so I'm just adding a little more thickness to the line. And now I'm going to draw the tangle tunnel vision inside. Yeah, so I'm just going to start drawing these humps in just about any fashion I feel like. Not too many, not too less. Yeah, So going to add one more here, and then add the caviar inside, and then add auras, tangle, tunnel vision. Yeah, simple tangle to draw, looks pretty nice on shading. Again, I'm going to place it here and then add auras. Just rotate your tile while you draw the auras in different directions. Make sure your hand is comfortable. Again, going to place it here. Start drawing the auras. You can also break the lines. Yeah, small little things that you can do to add to the look of the tangle. Add a highlight there. Again, I'm going to place it somewhere here and add lines with some bit of highlight like these. Again, going to place it here. No highlights this time. Yeah, and the last one here, probably place here, and then just keep adding auras all around, and one or two of them just jumping out. Add some weight, add a small highlight, and you can add some bit of etching there, probably one more there, some bit of weight. Yeah, two of them, that's enough, I think. Now I'm going to add an outer aura. Yeah, and I think you can guess what is the next angle I'm going to be drawing. That's Zeppo. Right? So Zeppo would start with orbs, then another orb inside, a little weight on one side, and then these smaller orbs like this, right? So I'm going to draw it just in a random fashion. You can draw it any ways you want, small, big ones. Right? Again, I'm going to change the shape probably a bit. Draw whichever way you feel like, but just keep connecting. They should be attached with each other, just like cells, molecules, just like the tangle bubble. Looks like an extension of that tangle. Yeah. So just go on like that. I'm going to continue, draw it in just about any fashion, not thinking much where, what, how. Trying to connect them wherever I can. That's the way it is usually drawn. Yeah, take your time and slowly do that exercise. So I'm almost finishing drawing my Zeppo here. Drawing it all around in the same fashion, interconnected with each other. Right, so I'm done with that. Now we have the small little spaces left in between. It is up to you how do you want to use that space. You can either completely ink it or you can add some other tangle inside. Right, so let's see. Very small little spaces. First I'm going to go to each one of them and just ink it like this. Make sure your orbs are discrete, the smaller orbs. Yeah, so I'm just going to each of the small spaces first and inking it. Take your time, don't haste up. Find those spaces where you can add some ink. As I keep saying, it adds to the look of your tile. Right, so once you're done with that, now some other tangle. Choose any tangle of your choice. So I'm just going to go with printums. I'm sorry, not printums. I'm just going to go with hollowbog. So I'll just draw some lines from one end to the other wherever I find spaces. Right, so pick each section and start drawing lines. Yes, it will take a little time. If you want, you can just simply ink all the remaining section, but this will be a better idea, I think. Yeah, so once you have done that between two sections, now you can probably go ahead and ink. And if you don't want to ink all the sections, you can ink some. Yeah, so that's a choice. Like this. Yeah, so up to you. You want to ink all, you can ink all. You want to ink some, you can ink some of the spaces, leave some of them empty. Yeah, so I'm going to continue like this for all the sections. So pick each section. Yes, it is small section, so you will have to take one section at a time and just ink some of the sections. Yeah, adding hollowbog in between. Take your time and slowly do that exercise. Hollowbog is a Zentangle original, one of the first few tangles taught to any beginner who starts with Zentangle practice. Yeah, so I'm going to continue like this. You take your time, draw at your own pace. Spaces are small and you need to pick each space and add hollowbog and ink some of the spaces. Yeah, still continuing with the same process. Hollowbog in between the Zeppo, adding inking wherever I feel like, leaving some spaces empty, inking some of the spaces like a jigsaw puzzle. So take your time, draw at your own pace, no hurry. Yeah, so I'm going to add some more. Continue like this. zigzag lines wherever I feel like. Yeah. I'm on the last lap of my inking. Just randomly picking up some spaces to ink and leaving the rest the way it is. Yeah. So now a few more sections left here, so just pick any that you feel like. Yeah. So I think I'm going to stop here and we'll see if we want to ink some more sections as we shade. Yeah. So let's stop here and move on to shading first. So I'm just going to add some bit of dots inside. I feel like doing that. Yeah. So let's get to shading now. So I think you learned 3 tangles today. Yeah. So I'm going to add some dark graphite here to give that impression of something inside, going inside. A little darker probably on one side compared to the other. Yeah. So blend. Don't blend too much. You want some white also to be visible. Yeah, as far as tunnel vision is concerned, I only mentioned. So just add some at the ends. Yeah, like this. Highlight the intersections. So don't blend too much. You want the center highlight. So take it easy. Spaces are small. Use the tip of your stub. Yeah, that's about it. As far as the inside section is concerned, I'm just going to touch on the other side of my BTL juice. Don't add too much. Yeah, a soft touch. Yeah. And then Zeppo, as I mentioned, you can always darken one side. So the side where you have added that extra weight, you can always add some graphite on that side. Just go ahead and do that for all. Yeah. So I'm going to visit each of these orbs and do that exercise. Almost done with that exercise. right? So if you want, you can make your smaller orbs also a little bigger in size and give them the look of droplets. So many ways to go about creating tangleations. Yeah, so once I'm done with that, now I'm just going to add some shading in these empty spaces where I can. Just add some bit of shade there. Not too less, not too much. Just to give the effect of a border there. Wherever there are whites, you cannot be adding on the black. Yeah, and the same thing on the outside. So where there are whites, you have not inked, just add some graphite there. Make sure you don't make the entire thing gray, leave the center white. Take your time. Slowly go to each of those sections where you can add graphite. Right? Almost done there. Yeah. So time for some highlights. So pick up your chalk pencil and add some bit of highlights on your tunnel vision. Wherever you can. Use a different blender and just soften the chalk. Right? If you want, you can add a highlight in between here, but I don't see much of a need. And there is already a highlight as far as your BTL is concerned, but if you want to redo it, you can just re-emphasize it with your chalk. And that's about it. I don't think we need to do anything else. If you want, you can add a little extra darkness here. Again, you can always use your gray watercolor pencil, which I often do when I want to add that extra darkness. And you can use your brush, the water brush, and just add a little bit of extra darkness there to give that impression of something going inside. And you are sorted. Yeah? Nothing else required. So I'm going to be closing my tile now. So put in your chop, sign and date your tile. And I shall see you again with one or two more new tangles in the next session, right? So bye-bye.